Yeah, I think maybe we'll get started, and as others show up, we'll go ahead and I'll let them in while you're talking.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone for coming to the presentation. I'm very excited to have you here. For anyone that does not know me, I'm Tina Vestal. I own Vibrant Travel, and we work with curious travelers looking for authentic experiences. And one of the reasons I love having Sebastian here from AmaWaterways is because this AmaWaterways offers such a myriad of unique and wonderful experiences. So I'm really excited to have him here today to talk to everyone. To tell you a little bit about Sebastian, Sebastian comes from France. He studied winemaking in school and actually was a winemaker in Germany. So when we have presentations on wine cruises, he is the guy. He can tell us all about the wine and the type of journey that we're going to take. In addition to that, Sebastian has been with AmaWaterways now. I think it's 10 years, but it might be 11 now. Okay, 10 years. And he has worked both on the ship as a cruise manager, so he knows these cruises very well. And also he works with people like me on the shore as a business development manager. So he wears a few hats. And we're very excited to have him here today. So I will stop talking and let Sebastian take over.
Oh, thank you, Tina. I've said it many times. The reason why I like to have Tina doing the introductions is that she really makes it concise. It's very nice to hear somebody presenting you in a nice way. So very well done. And thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for having me. And yeah, we will talk a little bit about a very nice river tonight. We will go on the Douro. It's still I mean, of course, it's a well-known river in Europe, but it's not as busy, I would say, as most of the others, like the Rhine or the Danube. I mean, you can see here the Rhine River, which is really considered the highway on waters of Europe. So we'll talk about the Douro, but yeah, I'm with AmaWaterways, and so for those of you who don't know us, we are a river cruise line exclusively. So which means that we are very, very different from what happens on oceans. And I think I like to start with this slide because it's pretty much after one sentence, you've explained everything. Because an ocean liner, when you take a cruise on an ocean, of course you will have wonderful experiences, but the ocean liner will take you to the country, will take you, and you will be traveling along the coast. Whereas a river cruise ship will take you really through the country. So the vision and the aspect of the countries that you will have are completely different. Other big difference, of course, a river is way more narrow. It's a very small waterway. It's not open. So the size of the ships will be completely different. So you will never experience something like 800, 900, 5,000 passengers. I mean, that's not happening. I mean, in general, on rivers in Europe, the ships are between 90 for the very short ones, and let's say 195 for the very big ships. We have a maximum capacity of 150 guests on board our ship, 154 to be precise. And we really have a lot of space, and that's what we want for our guests. Our company was founded in 2002 by two families, and the good news is that in 2021 these are still the same families who are owning and operating the company. So the two founders on this screen are the gentleman on the left, and of course the lady in the middle, Rudi Schreiner and Christine Karst. And the gentleman who is on the right, if you look at what is written below his name compared to the others, it's not written co-founder, it's written co-owner, simply because if you read the little text, simply because his father, Jimmy Murphy, was the third founder of AmaWaterways. But Jimmy passed away, and thankfully, Gary decided to continue and to carry the legacy of his dad. So really great to have them. It is really great. I mean, I was talking to Christine again today. I mean, these are really wonderful people who love their company. That's why the company has grown, of course, over the years, but it has not grown out of control. I mean, we operate at the moment 23 vessels, and we will have 25 very, very soon, because we have still 2 that are under construction. And they're basically located on the locations that you see here. So, of course, the main part is in Europe, and tonight we will be focusing on this little one down here in the very western part of the country, of the continent. Sorry, but we're also present in Southeast Asia on the Mekong River, and also in Africa, in 2 different parts of Africa. One on the Chobe between Botswana and Namibia, mainly, I mean, and also Zimbabwe. And we will have very soon, starting September 6th, our Amadalia, which will be cruising in Egypt. Now, before starting talking about the cruise itself, I just want to touch a little bit on, I would say, the good things, because of course we know, I mean, we've been living a crazy year, and the focus was really made on what was wrong, what did not work, what was not possible anymore. But I would like to change that a little bit and talk about what COVID has enabled, what COVID has made possible, what enhancements are actually to be expected for our guests. And I would like to start with the airport transfers, because that's the first contact that you will have with us at AmaWaterways. When you will arrive, you will most likely arrive from the United States or maybe Canada, and you will be meeting us at the airport, where you will have our airport team. And the transfers, if you decide to choose, when you work with Tina, Tina will work with us directly, and she has the possibility to also book your air. So your complete travel can be booked through AmaWaterways, and she will be able to do that. And if the air is booked with us, the airport transfers are only with private limousines. So we do not use buses. I mean, the time of buses is gone. It would have come eventually, but as Rudy likes to say, COVID has made possible in a year what we were expecting 5 or 6 years to take in normal times. So it's a good thing. No more buses. I mean, of course, if you're a party of 6, we will have a minivan for 6, or mini coach, but we will travel, we will organize everything according to the size of your party. And the great thing as well with that is that there is no more waiting time. When we have your arrival time, we know you arrived, you have your dedicated driver, and you don't have to wait for anything. Because of course we have the cruises, but the specificity of AmaWaterways is really that every time we have a pre and a post land package. Tonight, for example, when we will be talking about Portugal, you can start in Lisbon for 3 nights, and then you can do the cruise on the Douro River, and then you can finish in Madrid for 3 nights. So really a nice trip. Of course, the cruise is the central point, but you have additions that can be done with that. Now, talking about the tours, what has changed with our tours? So, of course, we've always been known for including our tours, all of them. So you don't have to worry about if I have 3 tours that are available to me today on the ship, which one will I be able to take without having to pay or something like that. You don't have to worry about that, because they are included. So if you have a tour in the morning, a tour in the afternoon, a tour in the evening, go for it. If that's what you want to do, feel free to do so. But what is important now is that, so pre-COVID, we were already in favor of small groups. You did not have more than 20 guests per guide. That's something that is very important, to have a small number of guests with one guide, because when you take a trip like this one, we want to make sure it will be memorable. And we also assume somehow that you have not been to this area before. And if you've not been there before, of course, you want to discover everything. And it is also very likely that you will have 1 or 2 or 10 questions, who knows, for the guide. And the problem is that if you have a group that is too large on these tours that last, let's say, if it's a walking tour, it will last an hour and a half. If everybody starts asking just one question, pretty much an hour and 10 minutes, or will be gone from this tour if you have a big group. If you have a small group, your guide has the time to give you all the explanations that he needs to give you and answer also the questions. Now we have different paces because we also understand that not everybody walks the same way. Not everybody is of the same age, so not everybody has the same capability. So we have regular walking tours, no need to explain that. Active walking tour. So there, it's not that the actives will be running a half marathon when they're doing their tour. It's more than there will be less stops during the walking tour. The explanations will be given on the go, and this will allow basically the guests to have some more free time at the end, so to more time on their own to enjoy the area where they are now. But we also have the gentle walkers, because we are not slow, we're just gentle, and we're taking our time. And we know that some people cannot walk very well on cobblestones, for example, or sometimes, I mean, you can be with your companion and one person, I don't know, it might be that one has a wheelchair or something. And that's exactly what these tours are designed for. We want to make sure that everybody will be able to enjoy a place at their own pace. But of course, as you can see here, when you look especially at the left part of the screen, might be a little difficult to go with a wheelchair on these stairs. And the reason why is that this is a hike, because we offer guided hikes, we offer guided bike tours, and we offer also, and I'm not pushing to consumption here, I mean, it is like apricot liqueur, what you see there, but we also offer what we call special interest tours. So the special interest tours are, I would say, a way for you to discover an area in a different way, not just to discover the city and the main sites, but maybe discover a specialty of the city, or maybe discover an artist who was in this area, or maybe discover the local beers that are made there, or the special food. So we have these in quite a few areas, and you will see on the Douro in a few minutes that we have quite a few of these special interest tours. As I mentioned, 3 different paces, but also the late riser tours. So the late riser tours, they're here for guests. I mean, usually we use them when the ship stays docked in one place for the entire day. Because if you're going to be there for 24 hours, you will be able to just relax. I mean, you're on vacation after all. So you might just want, just to say, you know what, I'm sleeping in this morning. And since this tour is starting at 10 a.m., I will just attend the 10 a.m. tour. And that's what we want, and it's very, very popular. Trust me, on many rivers I've seen that. And at the beginning we thought people will want to go at the crack of dawn, basically. No, people love their little late starter tours. The accommodation, that's something that is very important when we are talking about our ships. So when we're talking about Portugal, the ships are a little shorter than in the rest of Europe, and it doesn't have to do with us wanting to build smaller ships. It simply has to do with the fact that the locks on the Douro River are shorter than the ones on the Danube or on the Rhine River. The Douro is a very steep river because it's coming really from the mountains, and only the Portugal part, the Portuguese part of the river is navigable. The Spanish part is not, because it becomes too steep and too narrow. So that's why the ships are smaller, and that's a great thing, because the maximum capacity on our AmaDouro and on our AmaVida is 100 guests. So that's a great, we have a ship that is 280 feet long, 50 cabins, and that's it. And that's really, really nice. The cabins are spacious. They range from 190 square feet to 380 square feet for the suites on the AmaDouro, and 350 square feet for the suites on board the AmaVida. They are all so the suites and the balcony staterooms have these double on our Portuguese ships. They have these twin balconies. So you have the French balcony here and the step outside balcony right next to it. That's very nice, especially if you're cruising not in the main season. I would say like June, July, August, September, where the temperatures make that you will absolutely be able to be outside, etc., etc. But if you cruise in October or at the beginning of the season, it's nice to have a little bit more space and to look at the beautiful scenery, but to have more space inside if it's still a little cool outside in the morning. Just want to touch on our cruise managers. I mean, you've heard Tina said that I was a cruise manager. Actually, I'm still a cruise manager. I do both jobs. And my colleagues that you see here, Maddie and Martina, they are really the perfect picture of who the cruise manager team is. They're really people who are here for you. They're the face of the company because they're your first point of contact when you arrive at the hotel if you take a pre-land extension. But also the entire crew on board the ship is really an aspect that people always remember. When you go on a trip like this, many people think, oh yeah, I've been to this and this place, but what they remember is the name of Marius at the bar, who after 2 days knew, or actually from the second day, knew exactly that you drink your martini gin with this and this type of gin, or maybe another young lady in the restaurant, Viola, for example, who would know exactly how you drink your coffee in the morning, that you take it with two sugars in there, that you turn the coffee with the milk 2 times on the left and 3 times on the right. It's absolutely amazing what they do. And they're here for you all the time. As I said, from the moment when you arrive at the pre-extension, at least for the cruise managers, until the moment you leave at the end of the post-extension. I was mentioning also the bike tours. So I mentioned the guided bike tour. So we have 25 bikes on each and every one of our ships. And we have also different size of bikes because we know that not everybody has the same height. And it's also very important for people to be able to be mobile on their own, because of course we have the guided bike tours, but someday you might simply want to go on your own and say, hey, let's discover. I mean, the ship is docked the entire day. Why don't we go around? And Portugal is a very safe place to bike. Pretty much all Europe. I mean, in the places where we are with the ships, there's absolutely no problem. There are 2 areas or 2 cities, better said, that I would not recommend if you book with Tina and you say, look, I want to go to this river or this river. Make sure that you don't bike in Amsterdam and in Budapest. For the rest of Europe, you're good to go. We also know that many people want to stay. I mean, that's a trend that has come over the past 5 years. We want to be healthy. We want to be fit. And we have a wellness program on board the ship. Don't forget one thing is that everything I'm mentioning to you now is included in your cruise fare, in the cruise price. So when we're talking about the guided bike tours, when we're talking about classes, I mean, gym classes, I mean, like, for example, the yoga class with Andre, or you see Victor on the right, everything is included. There is no extra for that. If you want to have them, any of them, because they're all certified fitness instructors, if you want to have them on board the ship, giving you private one-on-one personal lessons, fitness hours, that's a different thing. That's something you can organize with them, and there can be an extra charge for that. But when it comes to all the classes, everything is included. So great time throughout the day, different classes, different levels, because once again, when it comes to yoga, we know that not everybody has the same flexibility. I mean, I know that I'm in France, we say that I'm flexible as a door, which explains pretty much everything. But still, I go there in the morning, and it's a nice way to start the day. Or if you say that you don't want to go on a tour, but why not taking an active walk when the ship is docked? I mean, they're not guides. They are wellness hosts, but they will take you on an active walk. And after that, you will be able to take some very nice calories to make sure that the muscles rebuild. Very proud of our food, and you will get to enjoy that when you go to Portugal, because everything is sourced locally. We do not have frozen food on board the ship, and this has a great advantage, is that we will be able to accommodate pretty much any type of dietary restrictions or any type of diet. There is one that we cannot accommodate, is a pure kosher diet. That's simply because we would need to have a second galley, pretty much. Technically, it's not possible, but we can do kosher friendly. But when it comes to gluten allergies, nuts, dairy, etc., everything, the most important is that you give this information to Tina, And after that, she will transmit that to us, and then we will make sure that everything is just fine for you. And trust me, I've been, as I said, a cruise manager for 10 years. My wife has a gluten allergy. She's been cruising with us quite a few times, and she pretty much wants to go back on the ship for the simple reason that she doesn't have to cook, and I don't have to cook, and she knows that everything is gluten-free for her. One last little thing before we really go on the river. The sip and sail and the drinks. What is included when it comes to drinks? But of course, from breakfast, if you want to have some champagne, very good for activating the blood circulation. That's what we say in France, at least. So champagne is included at breakfast, and then after that, for lunch and dinner, we have wines, beers, soft drinks. Everything is included, and we also have the sip and sail. So sip and sail is a cocktail hour, a complimentary cocktail hour that we have every day, 1 hour before dinner. And I call it the social hour because it's really the moment, especially if you're traveling with friends or with families. I mean, you will see that there are quite a few tours that are offered. So not everybody will be on the same group. Not everybody will have the same guide. Not everybody will go to the same place. Because some will take a hike, some will take a bike tour, and some will take a regular tour, for example. And this cocktail hour is really the moment where everybody exchanges what they have done and seen during the day. That's really a great time for everyone. And really these moments, I mean, actually the two folks that you have here on the right, they were cruising with me. That's in Bordeaux. Terry, he's been cruising with me, I think 4 or 5 times with his companion. And that's the kind of experience that we want people to see, to take the selfies, to enjoy their time. And the beauty is that when you use your phone, when you come back on the ship, the Wi-Fi is complimentary. You can hook up to 3 different devices per stateroom. It is a private network, so you don't have to worry about the information being stolen, etc. It's a completely encrypted network, so great for safety. And also, we have the AmaCruise app, and my AmaCruise app, for those of you who would be familiar with AmaWaterways, it started a few years ago, and it was a very basic app. We were super happy with it because we said, hey, we have our own app now, and we could really. It started with basically the map of where we were, so you could really see in real time where the ship was, and you could send virtual postcards to your friends. And also, if, for example, you would be traveling, but your mom and or your dad, or reverse, the kids were at home and wanted to know, the app was able to send notifications of when the ship had arrived where. But now it's much more than that. I mean, you have alarms that will be there. So basically, if the ship is leaving, I mean, just imagine, I mean, you're downtown Porto and you know that the ship is leaving at 5 p.m. But at 4 p.m., your phone will tell you, hey, a friendly reminder, the ship is leaving in 1 hour. So maybe it's time to go back to the ship now. You will have the possibility to book, to reserve your spots for the tours. You will have the possibility to give live feedback about your day, about your cruise. So really a great app that we have there. And I think it is now time for us to cruise a little bit, and I will try to show you some of the highlights of the Douro River. Of course, the Douro is famous for the port wine. I mean, Portugal is famous for the port wine, but I like to start with this map because there is much more than just the port wine when you go to this area of the world. So, of course, just one little thing: the green, the yellow, the orange, the red, and the brown here, which is pretty much it's a deviation of the red. These are Portuguese wine regions. The blue one is in Spain. Okay, that's very important because Arribes is a beautiful area. But you will really hear about it when you go to Salamanca in Castelo Rodrigo. But of course, Duriense, so here along the river, and when you go to Piñao and Entre los Ríos, you will hear a lot about the port wines, but you will hear about the Vinho Verde. So this white wine is very crisp white wine. And also, you will hear about a specific kind of rosé wine. The most famous, it's not very famous here in Northern America, but if you go to Great Britain and talk about the Mateus rosé, everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. After that, wine is always a question of taste. It's not necessarily my taste, but people seem to love it there. So really a region where you will have wine all the time. What happens if you take a wine cruise with AmaWaterways? Of course, we will have some tours. So we will have all our regular tours that I mentioned before, the hikes, etc., etc. And then we will add some wine tours. So it's not that there will be just wine tours. Actually, you should see the wine tours as an extra layer of tours. But not only that, you will also have a wine host. A wine host, 95% of the time coming from Northern America. Why is that? Because you could wonder, why would I have a North American wine host coming on a cruise when I'm going to be cruising on European rivers? Because you want someone who will be able to explain to you these wine regions in your own wine language. What do I mean with that? Is that if you are, when you go to, I don't know, Total Wine or 123, God knows, your wine store, you know what you will get. You know that you will like your Cab Franc, or you will like your Cabs, from this very area, or you even know the brand. You will go and you will say, I will buy The Prisoner, or I will buy a Rombauer and Rombauer. So that's not how it works in Europe. If you say, I'm going to get a Lafite Rothschild, well, wonderful. But first of all, what Lafite Rothschild are you talking about? What part of the vineyard? What vintage? So there is a lot to that. Are we talking first label, second label, third label? So there is a lot to understand, and each and every country, each and every river really have their own specificities. As a matter of fact, today, and it's not a joke, because of course it's 1st of April, so one could think that it's really a joke. But the Germans, actually, they did that one day before, on March 31st, completely changed their wine classification. It changed completely yesterday, and it had not been touched in more than 40 years. So that's why it's important to have these folks with you who will be able to educate you. There will also be wine tastings on board the ship, because that's also very nice. You're cruising, you are hearing, you learn about the whole region that you have around you, and you taste the wines at the same time. So the cruise starts in Porto. So when you're in Portugal, we have two different itineraries. We have one that does Porto to Porto, and we have one that does Porto to Vega de Terron, and then after that you can continue to Spain. So I will show you all the areas, all the little villages that we have there, but I will do it on the Porto to Porto tour. So Porto, absolutely beautiful place, and the boats that you see there, actually they are not on the Porto side. Porto is the city right there. You are here in Vila Nova de Gaia. That's where our ship will be docked. That's where you embark the ship. And these boats, you will see them everywhere, because these are the traditional boats that were used. And if you look here precisely, you will see barrels, because these are and you see them here as well. These are the boats that were used for the transport of the port wine from the upper part of the river down to the storage places before being transported all over the world. And we will be sailing to all these areas. So we arrive in Porto, we have a nice little tour of the city, we visit the city of Porto, and then the same evening, we are cruising, the same afternoon, we are cruising towards the first stop, which will be Entre os Rios, between the rivers. And I'm sure that you have already understood why it's called like this. So our ship is docked right here. That's the docking location of our ship. The beauty of a cruise on the Douro River is that the ship is never cruising at night. It's simply not allowed on the Douro. The passenger ships are not allowed to cruise during the night, which allows what? One, you will be able to spend very nice evenings on the sun deck, or you can go out and enjoy the cities that you have around you. That's the one thing. But also when you go to bed, you don't have a moving ship. I love when the ship is moving, but it's like pretty much being at home. Nothing moves, it's quiet, it's beautiful. So Entre os Rios, that's where we dock that evening. And when you're on the Douro, there's something a little different from any other river cruise with AmaWaterways is that we will take you out for dinner. Not that we're taking you in a restaurant. No. We're taking you in a 12th century monastery, and you will eat in this the typical food from the area, and it's cooked. Actually, it's cooked with the ancestral method because they use the old oven, which dates back to the 12th century, and it's still used. So Alpendurera is absolutely amazing. You have approximately 25 minutes drive, and depending on the time of the year when you go there, you will see. You will have a beautiful sunset coming, and then you see the valley really getting, because it's very steep, and just down here it gets very steep and deep. So beautiful place to have a dinner outside. And what happens is that the crew from the ship comes and cooks there. It's not people from the monastery, is that our chef with the galley team comes out there. Then we will continue and we will arrive in these areas that are mountainous, and that's where you will see the quintas, and the quintas are the wineries, basically the port wine wineries, and also Vinho Verde wineries. So we will go to Regua. So Regua is very famous because in this area of the Douro, that's where you have simply the tallest locks. That's where you have the tallest lift in Europe. There are the tallest one is 118 feet. So basically your ship enters, and that's kind of an automatic staircase, and you're lifted 118 feet. It's absolutely amazing to witness. People love to go on the sun deck and look at that. The captain and the cruise manager give explanation about how everything is working. It is a magical moment. But I was mentioning to you also a few minutes ago the rosé. So that's the Palacio de Mateus, and the Mateus rosé is coming from this very place. You will visit the castle, you will have the tasting. So the tasting actually takes place in this part of the castle here. And then you have some free times because the gardens are absolutely wonderful. So the tours, we have usually half-day tours. You will see that there are morning and afternoon tours. There are the bike rides also that are offered, but very rarely do we do full-day tours. I will show you one in a few moments that is absolutely amazing. But when we go to a quinta, for example, the station, which is here, it belongs to the Sandeman company, Sandeman family. This quinta is absolutely amazing because it looks like it's at the bottom of the hill, right? If you look like this, but it's absolutely not the case. That's a second mountain that is even higher. That's the top of a hill here. You're already approximately 900 feet above the water. And so it really goes up and up and up and up. And you start your visit in the quinta there, and it pretty much you're underground everywhere. And this part that is here, just facing the valley, that's the tasting room. It is absolutely amazing. And the wines that you taste there, you will really learn about these vintage, tawny, all these different port wines that you have there. And they're very proud of what they do. And the vineyard, you see there, that's a vineyard. It looks actually bizarre because people would say, oh my goodness, when I go to Napa or God knows where, it's green, there are leaves everywhere. You have, of course, some leaves there, but the vineyards are immaculate, but they look like they're almost empty. And that's something that you will see quite a few times. You see here, I think that's a very good view on these terraces. That's when you go to Pinhão. Pinhão is this little village here. But you really see, so you have some green, but really it's not, and the idea is to really extract and to really take out the water to get the highest concentration in sugar for these grapes. It is a beautiful, and just imagine yourself being here in the middle of the river on this ship and cruising, and you're on the sun deck sipping your little cocktail or maybe your little glass of wine, and you're watching what's happening around. When we arrive in Pinhão, you will learn about, and we have, of course, onboard entertainment. So we have our guests, entertainers that are coming. We have a resident guest and a resident entertainer as well. But that evening, we have a fado evening. So this fado is this Portuguese, very melancholic, very I don't want to use the term sad, but really melancholic song. And you will have also, it's not only a melancholic evening, it's very researched. And you have also the dance that goes, the dance that goes with the music. absolutely superb moments that you have when you're on board the ship. Then we continue and we go to Lamego. So Lamego, a pilgrimage place where you have Our Lady of the Remedies. And so you have two ways to visit the church. It is a pilgrimage place, as I said, and here you have approximately 774 stairs to go up. You can choose to go up the stairs with the guides, or if you have difficulties going up the stairs and down the stairs, you can take, and the buses will take you all the way up, and you will visit this beautiful, beautiful place that is Lamego. Not only the church, because you will go to the village and visit the cathedral. Cathedral is very impressive because it is a very early Gothic. It's a late Romanesque and early Gothic. And how can we know that? But simply because if you look at the door, you see that it's not round. But here you see it is completely round up there. So that's the older part. And that's the modern part. So when you have the Gothic came after the Romanesque period, of course. Then we did not talk about food, and I told you that the food is amazing, and we will take you also on tasting. And what you see here is called a bolla, and the bollas, I mean, this is really this typical pastry cake that you will get when you're leaving from Lamego, and of course you drink it with sparkling wine. So, I mean, you eat it with while drinking sparkling wine, and you have different ones. I mean, we go to one place because they are made fresh every day. They are made fresh for us. You have different ones with cheese, with bacon, with it's an absolutely amazing little place to visit, and it's a little different. I mean, you want to eat like the locals, of course. When we go after that, we continue. We go to another quinta, La Quinta de Pacheca. So I wrote that we have a picnic here. It's not really a picnic because we will be in the cellar with, and just look at the size basically of the table and the size of these barrels. There are some places there now where they use the barrels. They have transformed them because they are not in use anymore, simply because sometimes they're too old. And what they do with them is that they transform these barrels into hotel rooms. And it is super popular. So that's not what we do that day, but just for you to see, that's where we would have our picnic. So it's a very elevated version of a picnic, I would say. Belongs also to Saint-Domingue, and usually, and I really like that because this picture, I took it really from the bottom of the hill, and you see everywhere, you have approximately 22 or 23 places where Saint-Domingue is producing on the Douro River, and you have the statue of the man in black like this at the top of the hill. It's absolutely beautiful to see. Now, I mentioned to you that we would go to the Spanish border because that's really the end. After that, you cannot cruise on the Douro anymore. So that's the little village of Vega de Terón, and from Vega de Terón we will visit two places. One, we will have a full day in Salamanca. So we go to Spain. It's absolutely beautiful. There's a little bit of a drive. I mean, it takes that's the longest bus trip that we would take. It takes about an hour 15, an hour 20 minutes to get there. But you spend the entire day. You will visit the old city. You visit, of course, the cathedral. You go to the Plaza Mayor, which is the main square in the heart of the city. You see the old University of Salamanca, and you have some time for free time. That's what we want there. You want to be able to wander around this beautiful town, and of course your guides are there all the time. If your guides, when the tour is over, they will tell you, if you need me, I will be sitting here, etc. And you can always go back and see the guide when you need. The cruise manager is also around. So really great times that we're having there, and really learning about the Spanish architecture, the Spanish history, the Spanish learning system, because as I said, the university is there, and it is the oldest university in Spain. So really a beautiful day that you spend in Salamanca. But after that, we go to another place that is absolutely amazing. It's Castello Rodrigo. Completely different, but as you can see, an old fortified village, very, very small, on the top of a hill. And it's you will get to taste there. They have almonds, and they produce all sorts of nuts. So it can be hazel, it can be walnuts, can be almonds, etc. They have everything there, and we will take you and you taste them. They're the most wonderful nuts that I've personally experienced, because they taste different. That's not what we get, when we go to a store here, and you get to understand what they do with it, how all these almonds are made, what these oils are made from all the products. And you learn that they've been doing that in this very little place for 1400 years. So they know exactly how to do it. And this is why the village is so well fortified, is because it was very valuable since the medieval times. Absolutely superb area to visit as well. And then, of course, the ship. So that's what I told you. We can go both ways. So now we would make our way back towards Pinhao. And we will take you for another dinner outside the ship at the Quinta de Avesada, which is another beautiful winery. That's there. They do not make port wine. They make Vinho Verde and they make red wine. And you will have dinner not in the cellar, but just outside on a wonderful, wonderful terrace. And it's a private dinner. It's only for our ship. That's also very important. We're never mixed with other people. It's only for us. Then we come back to Porto, because the river itself is not very long. So we have all these little, we're kind of hopping every day from one place to the other. But when we come back to Porto, we will let you visit areas like the Casa de Sezim and the old fortified castle. So Casa de Sezim, that's what you see here, a villa painted, as you can see, all the walls, everything is completely painted. It is simply incredible, this little village. Now, this little the entire area, but I'm just talking, of course, of what we are doing during the cruise and the Matosinhos. So basically, that's a fish tasting. I told you we have these special interest tours, so that's also a possibility. If you don't want to go visiting a house that has paintings everywhere, maybe you want to taste something to eat. There you go. You can go for the Matosinhos. And that's what really makes us a little bit different, is that we will be able to take you to all these places. And if there is something that you miss, the beauty of it is that you could come back the next year and do all the other tours, and you would still be cruising on the same river, but you would discover completely different areas. So if you are interested in this one, of course, it is a very, very popular area. It is a kind of a kept secret, and it books usually very, very quick. Why? Because the inventory is not there. It's not like on the other areas of in Europe where you have 10, 12, 15, 20 ships. That's not what we have there. We have 2, and they are small. So if you want, contact Tina. Tina will be able to really set up everything for you. Now, I think if we want to conclude, I mean, we could talk a little bit about Lisbon and Madrid. So I always very much recommend, if you're going to do these tours, don't just come for the for the 7 nights. If you have the possibility, take the 3 days in Lisbon or in Madrid, or both if you can. But it's really great. Why? Because first of all, you will arrive and you will have time to beat the jet lag. You will have time to discover areas that are absolutely amazing. I mean, when you arrive in Lisbon for the first time, at least that was for me, the first thing that you see is a bridge that looks exactly like the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Why do I say exactly? Because it's been built by the same company that built the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. So you arrive there and you will not only be amazed by how friendly the Portuguese people are, but the history, the discoverers. And so the discoverers, that this is a word that you will hear a lot about them, because you know that in the 15th and 16th century, I mean, they went everywhere around the world. And you will learn about it. You will visit the Geronimo Monastery. You will go to the Belém Tower. You will see a huge map that shows where and what the Portuguese have discovered over the centuries. You will learn with your guides about the Portuguese, the influence in many different languages, including Japanese, of the Portuguese language. I was baffled when I heard that the first time, but then when you think about it, yeah, it starts to make sense. and same thing with Madrid. I mean, we stay at the Westin, which is in the heart of the city. I mean, it's a, I don't know, 8 minutes walk away from the Prado Museum. You're really in the heart of the city. You go to Toledo, you spend a full day in Toledo. So really beautiful times that you have, you know, when you're not on the ship. So if you want to go, contact Tina. She knows everything. I mean, we've been, I don't know how many presentations we've done together, Tina, but quite a few now. And she knows that if for some reason there is a question that she cannot answer, she knows how to get a hold of me. So I would like first to thank you for listening to me. I hope that this was interesting. And now if we want to open for questions, we can do that.
Yep. Great. Does anyone have any other questions for Sebastian? Good. Well, Sebastian, once again, thank you. It was an amazing presentation. I love listening to you talk about the cruises. I feel like I'm there. You're just so knowledgeable about them, and we really appreciate having you here tonight.
But thank you for having me. And yeah, if there's anything, I mean, there might be questions coming. Write to Tina. She knows the answers. Yeah, and then if she doesn't, she can call me.
I'll ask you. Yeah, I'll come to you. Wonderful. Thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate having you here.
Yeah, thank you for setting it up.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
I did record this, so you will be getting an email once it's uploaded.
All right. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.